Welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I'd like to talk about some of the policy decisions that ICE has decided to begin and how it affects uh, both the mindset of the person who is not here legally, the mindset of people who are not here legally but victims of crimes, and the mindset of people who essentially have to or would need to take the legal system to help them in certain situations. So ICE has decided that they are going to go to the courthouses across the country, and they are going to essentially wait for those persons who are not legal but who are legally in the court, either taking care of criminal problems of which they may be victims, and they need to testify, taking care of traffic tickets, taking care of civil matters, any matter that you would deem necessary for someone to be in a court, whether they're called to testify, yeah, or whether they, through their attorneys, have subpoenaed people to testify based on crimes. And what ICE is doing is they are waiting for those people to come in, and then once they go out, they arrest them, and then they should, depending on the situation, put them in. If this is their goal, to put them in removal proceedings. Now, what has me worried on a couple grounds, just with the issue of going to the courthouse, is they do take these people, and the people are so frazzled and so beside themselves that they're probably willing to sign most anything that's put in front of them because of the fear that ICE has placed on them. And so, first things first, if you happen to be one of the unfortunate people, which there's more these days, that ICE has decided to go to the courthouse to apprehend, don't sign anything. And you don't have to say anything as well. You have rights. And they can put you in detention, and so forth. But you contact the immigration attorney, you or your family after, and then, depending on the situation, we can do a bond redetermination hearing, can represent you in court. There's all kinds of relief that's available. But if you sign the document which ICE puts in front of you, which I guarantee you they are not your friends, they're not doing this to help you, and much of what I've heard they tell people is it just is simply not true. Okay, I mean, things like, if you don't sign this, you're going to end up in detention for 20 years, that there's no way you're going to win. No matter what an immigration attorney tells you, you're going to lose, and you're going to basically rot in the detention facility. So don't believe that. Okay. Their goal is to try to deport you, period. And if you sign a paper that says, please deport me, I don't want to fight my case, well, you've just made their lives a whole lot easier, and they get to put, a mark on the check side that says however many they deported that day. So you do have rights being here and so forth. So that's the first thing. Okay. Now, secondly, what does it do to all of the millions that are not here legally, um, when they have issues dealing with court? Let's say that you have somebody who is not here legally but is beaten by her, U.S. citizen husband. Um, Now, because she knows if she files a temporary restraining order against her husband who has beaten her, and and has to go to court to essentially testify what has happened in order to get the TRO, she'll be afraid to do that because she'll be afraid that she'll be deported. So what are the alternatives? To keep letting her husband commit domestic violence on her, to run away to somewhere of which she has no shelter. So this is just an example, but it's happening all over now, that people who are not here legally, but who are victims of crime, are now afraid to call the police, afraid to go testify, afraid to go to court to take care of the matters. And last time I looked, there's nothing in the Constitution that says that if you happen to be here illegally, crimes can be committed against you and you have no recourse. Okay, they're separate. The issues of their removability and deportability are separate from the criminal issues as to which they are victims of crime and need to take care of it. Now, if you happen to be one of those people who were, subpoenaed to court to testify, well, you can try to get the S visa. That's a particular kind of visa for material witnesses. If you do happen to be a victim of crime, you can try to get the U visa. Okay, so there are visas specifically available if you are essentially victims of crime or you're subpoenaed into court to testify. So even though you might be afraid because of what ICE is doing these days to go into court to take care of the matter on a legal, uh, you know, on a legal situation where you make the report and charges are brought and so forth, you certainly have the option, depending on the crime and so forth, to get the U and or S visa. There's also T visa. So there's three different visas available for different kinds of crimes and testifying in court and so forth. The U, the T, and the S, and so while it's unfortunate that ICE, through its leaders, have decided to target people who are legally taking care of matters in court rather than criminal aliens, because when President Trump puts out the statements that all they're doing is targeting criminal aliens, that's just not true. Um, the vast majority of people who are in court, who are being targeted, are victims of crime themselves, not the other way around. Uh, and so it does have a chilling effect on the person who's here illegally, who have had crimes committed against them. It also has the effect of emboldening the perpetrator, because they know that the person who's here illegally will be less likely to report them, will be less likely to take action because of the fear. It also makes it so that these people who are committing the crimes against the foreign nationals might themselves say, "Well, I'm just going to call immigration and deport you if you report what I've done." So all the way around, it is a very bad policy decision for ICE to go into courthouses to find and try to deport those people who are trying to legally take care of matters of which they have been victims of crime. Well, if you like the video, click like, subscribe, and feel free to give my office a call. I'll let you know what can be done to help your situation. More in the coming videos.